ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on the Chartered Vendor Podcast. It's Monday, and I hope you guys are actually hustling and bustling in the busy streets of Africa. And I'm super excited. You know, when you're in business, you're growing business. My vision actually is to say we want to build as many timeless businesses as we can in Africa. We want to build businesses which can move from generations to generations. We want to build businesses which are going to be there in the next 200 years, in the next 300 years. But how can we do that? We can only do that if we put systems, if you build businesses with the intention of actually growing those businesses, not of just amassing wealth, but creating systems so that other people can find it simple to actually operate. That's my agenda, and that's what I want to do here. So today, I'm super excited. I've got a topic, and this topic is the title of my next book. This is going to be my next title: Why African Companies Die Young. That's my book. So in this book, why am I writing this book? Why African Companies Die Young? It's a book which I'm writing, celebrating my 11 years, just actually 10 years in business consultants, working with different companies in several countries. Some of them startups, some of them medium companies, some of them large companies. And in this book, I'm actually saying, it's not what you're thinking. I know that probably in Africa, we always think that companies are failing because of politics. Yes, that's what most of the people. I'm not saying it's not a factor. I'm not saying it's not a factor. It's a real factor. There are companies which also have actually failed because of our economics, because of politics. But actually in this book, I'm only talking about the internal factors, which I think 99% why our business are failing is because of internal factors. And yes, this book is still being worked on by my editor. And unless if something is going to change, I'm actually saying 35 stories, practical stories, which happened to me and which happened to my fellow entrepreneurs. Their business actually failed. In this book, I just removed names of people in the book, the actual names, but all those stories are true stories. These are things which happened in my career, and I've worked with a number of people. And today I'm just going to share with you a story which happened back then in 2018 when I was working with this client. So this client came to me, and he came with his wife, and they wanted to register a school. So this was a junior school, and I actually said, it's okay, you want to register a school, that's fine. So as we are actually doing the shareholding now, the husband and the wife, the husband said actually want 50-50 each. Then as a trained consultant, I actually asked, because I don't just do what the client is saying, I also try to ask to find out why they're actually making these kind of decisions. So I asked him, and he actually said, I want to give 50% to my wife. He laughed off and he just said, Jerry, where do you think your my guru can actually go? You know, your my guru is now 40 years old. Do you think I'm 47? He's 40 years old. We've been in the marriage for the past 20. He said actually 20 years. That's what he said. Yeah, 20 years they've been in marriage. They actually said they just celebrated their 20th anniversary. Then I said, I'm just asking. What is my guru contributing? My guru was there, and she actually, she looked at me with this talking eye to say, what is this young man saying? But anyway, I was just trying to do my work. And finally, they ended up sharing 80%, 20% shareholding. I went on to register this company, and I even advised my brother, and I actually said to him, sir, if you really care about your wife, you really care about your family, I guess right now, I have kids. Most of these kids were actually in their teens. So I said to him, my brother, why can't you also register trust? Then he said, no, Jerry. When you talk about trust, especially to our African community, you'll be making noise to them. I remember on Friday I was speaking at this other event. Shout out to INSCO. I was at a men's networking event. Then I as part of saying How can we actually have generational wealth? I started talking about a trust, and a guy actually said, "What you're saying is nonsense. I don't care about a trust. I'm earning $500. I'm earning $1,000. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, I'm covering about that in my book as well. So back to my story. Then they left. That was 2018. They grew their. I was doing also their books. I was also doing their accounts. They worked 2018, 2019. Everything was well, and just 2020, as we're approaching 2020, because it was just during COVID time, my brother called me. You know, when you're working sometimes, yes, we had a relationship. I would call him now and again, checking on him. My brother, how are you doing? And this is also a guy who supported my speaking career when I was starting. So my brother actually also said, okay, fine. He called me. And this time, he said, Jerry, things are not okay. And I said, what's wrong? Things are not fine. Please come and see me. So I went to his office. I know this guy had a huge tummy, a guy with one pack, giant guy. But when I saw him that time, I thought he was actually going to the gym. Then he said, Jerry, no, I'm not going to the gym. It's because of stress. Uh, things are not well. Then I asked, what happened? He said, what you said in 2018 is actually manifested. And I said, what are you saying? He actually said, no, I caught my wife having an affair with a teacher at the school which you're actually running. Then there was dead silence. It was a sad scenario. I don't wish for anyone to go through this kind of situation. So as he said, so I said, what happened? Then he started narrating the whole story. If you want, you should catch the story in the book. I'll just summarize it. So he narrated the whole story, how he actually managed to catch the wife cheating red-handed in his matrimonial home. And as he was pursuing a case against the boyfriend, the wife went to the courts and filed a divorce, which turned nasty. That divorce was very expensive. The lawyers, my brother, the guy was actually using was a lot of money. He lost a lot of money in the courts. And a dramatic event also happened at the courts when, women are very clever. So she actually went to him and tried negotiating with him. So because of frustration, this guy actually just turned. Then the wife jumped and she fell off on the ground. Then a case was also in the wife also went to the courts and said, I was actually assaulted at the courts. And they wanted to actually lock him up until when I had to also intervene with my lawyers. Fortunately, we had to win the case. But the said scenario, after when this divorce was finalized, this brother of mine lost his matrimonial home because they had to reach a compromise because the wife was garnering for the school. But he had this gentleman also was going to lose a lot if he was going to leave the school going. So ended up making a compromise, giving the wife cars, giving the wife matrimonial home in exchange of the school. And guess what? At 47, someone is starting to rent for the first time probably in their last 20-something years. At 47, someone is trying to find a loved one. 20 years, you've never said to anyone, I love you. So all these issues are the ones which are actually making African business die young. So my question is, my brother, my sister, as you're operating your business, how protected is your business against the loved ones? The people who usually disappoint us are not strangers. The people who disappoint us, the people who hate us the most, are people we really love. Our brothers, our sisters, our wives, our children, and many more. Mothers, fathers. So this is what I had for you this week as we are demystifying what's happening in the African businesses. So this is a story and a chapter in my book, Why African Businesses Die Young. That is when you're running a business, or when you aspire to get into business, or if you work for the companies, you need to grab your copy. The book is coming soon. Thank you so much. I'll share more with you in the coming weeks. Thank you so much. Salute. Out.